If I had to start an Airbnb business from scratch in 2026 and get to $10,000 a month fast and without massive risk, this is how I would do it. And no, I would not sign a single lease or do Airbnb arbitrage. I also wouldn't go take on a bunch of debt buying several houses. I would actually start with a way that requires zero money out of pocket and is known to be the most scalable model with the most exit options. This is known as co-hosting, and I'd aim for my first $10,000 a month of profit within the year. My name is Jeremy. I own multiple short-term rentals. I co-host for other people, and I co-founded B&B Calc, which thousands of hosts and investors use to run the numbers on their properties. I also host a mastermind where folk like Ryan, Dylan, Thomas, Merritt, and Kyle have built seven-figure short-term rental businesses and quit their jobs. I've seen this space from basically every angle. As an owner, as a co-host, as someone who has done Airbnb arbitrage, and as a nerd staring at spreadsheets, figuring out why a property is or isn't making money. Collectively, properties in my portfolio do about $1.5 million a year of revenue. And if I was starting from zero today, I'd get laser focused on co-hosting. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact process I'd use to build a co-hosting business from scratch. This is going to go into how to pick a market, how to find the right owners, and exactly what I'd say to them. I'll tell you how I'd onboard the property and how I'd scale to that $5,000 to $10,000 per month without signing long-term leases or entering into purchase agreements with expensive due diligence. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do this week to move from this sounds cool to I'm actually doing this, and why I was motivated to grow it in the first place, because it really shaped every decision I've made. Growing up, my dad was a consultant who traveled over 250 days a year. And look, he worked insanely hard and provided an amazing life for my family that allowed me and my brothers and my sister to grow up playing sports and get an education. And over the years, that lifestyle caught up with him. The lack of sleep, the travel, the constant stress, it took a toll on his health. My father is my best friend, and I respect the heck out of him and appreciate him to the moon. But watching that growing up made something really clear to me early. I didn't want to build a business that required me to live out a suitcase or run myself in the ground just to make a living. I just got married in September, and I give a lot of time and energy to help my wife pursue her dreams and ambitions. And when we have an eventual family, I want to be there for them, not just as a provider, but as someone who can physically and energetically be there and be present. I want to train my kids in sports instead of just paying for them to be in rec leagues. And that's a huge reason why I built this business, my portfolio, and why co-hosting clicked for me. You can scale it without traveling. You can earn without burning out. You can build remote systems instead of racking up airline miles. For instance, I live in New York City, and my closest properties are hundreds of miles away. I will admit, I enjoy every once in a while checking in on my properties and think it's beneficial to do so. I really do value being there in person to fully understand or feel the guest experience. But for the most part, 99% of the time, I do it from my laptop and in coordination with my local team members. So co-hosting is a business model that you can operate remotely and enable you to be not only successful, but present with those around you. And for me, that matters. So step one is going to be to pick your market and positioning. If I were to start from scratch, day one is not about making a logo or buying a website domain. Those are good things to do. But really, day one is where do I want to operate and who do I want to be the go-to person for? If possible, I'd start within driving distance of where I actually live. I'd want to make sure I'm focusing on a place with a decent mix of second homes, vacation homes, or people who should be doing short-term rentals but don't want to manage them. In our mastermind, we have people who manage properties not just from different states, but actually different countries. And the reason is oftentimes because there isn't enough inventory of homes for rent in their areas, or the regulations suck where they live. For example, Ryan has built a Florida-based management portfolio from Canada. And Dylan, who's also quit his job, has built a multi-state operation while living in one of the most restrictive cities in the world, New York City. New York City literally does not allow short-term rentals anymore. So when I look at a market, I'm asking, are there already successful Airbnbs there? Do the numbers, is there enough of revenue out there where there's management fee? Is demand somewhat consistent? Or is there literally one music festival a year and then crickets? And then fourth, and maybe the most important, is there existing management businesses? Maybe ones that started in the 1950s and suck at technology who are underserving their clients, or maybe national players who don't care to compete on a local level. These businesses are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and their clients are being underserved. Thus, they're low-hanging fruit, ripe for you to partner with. Their homes might be sitting vacant for months out of the year, and the Current managers don't even care. Not only are the existing managers lighting money on fire, the owners can't even get in touch with them to be heard if they wanted to. So this makes your pitch easy. You just ask them, is there anything you would change about your current management? Then you just need to sit back and listen. Guys, that's going to land a lot better than saying, can I manage your Airbnb for you because I want a side hustle? You're a professional. So now that we've picked a geography to start and a clear type of person you want to help, maybe this is out-of-state investors, busy professionals with second homes. You want to be clear about the type of people that you want to be working with. So you don't want to be a generic Airbnb person. You want to be someone who helps homeowners with their properties. Step 2, what are the types of properties and owners you actually want to work with? Well, not every property is a good fit for co-hosting. You're going to want to work with owners who you can actually work with. My favorite type of property and owner is an absentee owner, meaning they don't live on the property. They're either investors or second homeowners, and they currently have underperforming properties with other hosts. These managers, they already have a listing, but they have weak photos, bad titles, flat pricing, big gaps on their calendars, and really, they're just winging it. They often know that they're leaving money on the table, and they just don't know how to fix it. The second owner is an accidental or a lifestyle host. These people who, they might own a second home, a lake house, a ski cabin, a mountain cabin. They use it a few times a year. They list it on Airbnb when they remember to do so, but they really are not the ones who want to deal with the day-to-day operations. They're emotionally attached to the properties, but they're also tired. They want to keep the house and have it pay for themselves. So for both types, the investor, the second homeowner, your job is to look at a property like a product. Does it have scroll-stopping hero photo potential? Does it have something we can highlight? A view, a hot tub, a fire pit, a game room, proximity to something cool? Is it at least decent, or can it be made decent without a full renovation of the property? You're not flipping a fixer-upper here. You're running a hospitality business. Some red flags I want to avoid with either the property or the owner. First, being a super controlling owner who hates every suggestion. Maybe the property is rough, old, dirty, things are broken, and they won't spend $1 to fix it. Or maybe an owner that wants a guaranteed number and will blame you if the market is slower. They probably don't understand seasonality and that oftentimes January in the winter is not going to be as good as July. Co-hosting is a partnership. You want someone who's going to trust you and grow with you over time. You want someone you can talk to like an adult. So you might be wondering, how do you actually find these homeowners? Well, in our mastermind, we have 10 different ways to get co-host clients. And the truth is that I'm a believer that based on someone's situation, there might be a better approach for them than somebody else. The first thing we actually do is come up with a plan that is specific to each person and their goals. We call this our warm-up session. It's a call with myself, and I look at what you got going on, where you are in life, tools you may or may not know you have at your disposal, and we come up with a plan that is right for you. In the simplest form, and what's often the most effective, is finding underperforming properties and managers and getting in front of them. So you find existing managers in the area you're targeting, you locate their properties, and you find homeowner information on websites like PropWire and True People Search. You can put this information into your database or customer relationship management system and build out a system for outreach. Guys, there's people out there that own hundreds and you never know who you will talk to. We have folk in our mastermind who have clients with a dozen properties that they manage. Now, step number 3, this is exactly how I'd reach out to owners. All right, so you might think this all sounds great, but how do we actually find these people who own all these properties? Well, I'm going to go through one way here. I mean, in the United States of America, homeowner information is frankly public. So let's just say I'm looking here at Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, the Smoky Mountains. This is a place where there's a lot of second homeowners, a lot of vacation properties. I can literally see every house. And not only can I see the properties themselves, but I can see who owns them. I can see if someone's an absentee owner. Guys, why do we like absentee owners? Well, it's pretty simple. It's because they don't actually live in the property themselves. They live somewhere else. So this guy right here, let me look who is the owner. I'm using propwire.com, Heaven's Cabins. I can look up that LLC online. I can see that, wow, they own a lot of different properties. So that's a lot of cabins. So like I said, guys, there's people out there, and I just honestly clicked the first property, but you can go through all of Gatlinburg in a day and really get an idea of who owns what. From here, I can skip trace, guys. I'm going to spend 10 cents for y'all. There's other websites, True People Search, whatnot, but I got the potential phone number, email, for Heaven's Cabins. I can also go on the Tennessee LLC registrar, Secretary of State website, but these numbers might be their numbers. And again, this is, you get one of these guys, you might not just get one property, you might get 5, 10 in one swoop. So again, there is no rhyme or reason. You can go to other property management websites and see who's already using Property Manager, look at their listings, figure out where they are. But here, I'm simply just finding absentee properties. You can filter by that if you want, but here I'm not even doing that. Wow. This guy, Heaven's Cabins, holy crap. Looks like they have a lot of cabins there. Maybe they own that whole neighborhood. I'm not sure. But right here, another individual owned absentee owner. This is a Barry Bouillon. Sorry if I'm butchering that. They have 4 properties. Looks like they have a couple cabins, couple condos. But again, guys, you just get in front of these people. They might own more than one property. They might own 5. They might own 2. They might own 10. They might own 20. So that's it. We want to just get in front, talk to these people, get in front of them. Then the question is, so how do we get in front? I could probably find Barry on Facebook, Instagram. This is their potential phone number. I have their potential emails, their mailing address. So bang, that's potentially several points of contact for Barry Bouillon. Sorry, Barry, again, don't mean to put you on the spot. Everybody, please don't go calling Barry and, say I had anything to do with it. But my point, I think you guys can see, how do you find these people? Well, in America, all this information is public. So really no excuse why you can't kind of start piecing the web together, seeing out who out there owns what, and, trying to find your way in front of them. And then that brings us to our next question. All right, once you get them on the phone, you maybe you email them, maybe you Facebook message them, whatever it might be, you get in contact with them. What do you do then? How do you actually close the deal? Now, let's talk about what you actually are going to say. If someone is already on Airbnb and underperforming, I'm not going to send them a novel. I'm sending them something short, specific, and not needy. For example, hey, I'm Jeremy. I'm a local Airbnb co-host. I help owners in your area, blank area, increase revenue and make their place more hands-off by handling the full hosting side, listing optimization, pricing, guest messaging, and cleaner coordination. I was looking at your place at X link, and with a few tweaks, especially the photos, pricing, I honestly think it could be earning even more and getting stronger reviews. I see you're working with a manager already, but would love to just hop on and just give you suggestions on how you can improve the property's performance. That's it. No 40-page proposal. No please pick me. You're a professional. You're offering help. Once they respond and you get on a call with them, here's how I frame it. And keep in mind, you can certainly call and have a conversation with owners too. I'm just discussing a message. If you're going to send a cold message, a good approach for that. Once you have someone who is willing to have a call, a homeowner, the first call is what I call a discovery call. The goal is just to listen and learn about their experience and have empathy towards their pain points. You don't sell yourself at all on the first call, or at least the beginning of it. You just ask questions. At some point, they will just ask you, okay, how does it work with you and your services? What I like to even do is say that, to be honest, this call was just to learn about you and your property and your situation and see, if I can provide any helpful information. Happy to schedule another call where I'll share about what I do to help investors and homeowners like yourself. That way they don't feel like they're on a hidden sales call, and they know that the next call will be a sales call. So you're going to ask them questions, and then you're going to pause and just let them talk. Again, a question I like to ask is, do you have any stressors or are there any issues with your current management? And they're going to open up and they're going to go, oh, well, they haven't responded to my email in 2 weeks, or I haven't gotten, doesn't seem like I've gotten bookings in the last month. They'll discuss their pain points with you. So first, you just want to understand their pain points, not sell yourself. Now that you understand their situation, and on the next call, you've given your pitch or information about yourself, how do you handle objections? When you give your pitch on the next call or the back end portion of the first call, again, we're going to listen first. Now you're going to hear the same objections over and over. So I'm going to pre-frame a couple for you. For example, someone who manages themselves might say, we're already doing Airbnb. Why would we need you? Totally fair. A lot of my clients were already on Airbnb before we worked together. The difference is, this is literally all I do. I live inside the data and the systems every day, dialing and pricing with tools like Price Labs, doing property analysis with B&B Calc, tightening up the listing, building out cleaner checklists, automating messages. Most owners get more revenue with their time back. And to that, they might say, that sounds great, but I don't want my place to get trashed. I get it. I host my own properties too. So I think the same way. We screen guests, we have clear house rules, and we lean on our cleaners to be the eyes and the ears. The whole model falls apart if the property gets beat up. So I'm going to be just as motivated as you are to protect it. You're not turning this into a party house. You're handing it to someone who's incentivized to keep the reviews and condition of the property high. They might ask you, what do you actually handle versus what I do on my side as the owner? Well, on my side as the manager, I do listing optimization and photos, or as the co-host, pricing and calendar management, guest messaging and automation, cleaner coordination and checklists, inventory and restocking systems. On your side, the mortgage, taxes, insurance, big tickets, maintenance, and upgrades. Think of me as your hosting department or hospitality arm. I'm going to run the business side and you're going to stay the owner. Something that owners like, and I like to show them, is a fully branded B&B Calc report. B&B Calc was literally built to help show owners that you understand the market, understand other properties, seasonality. So oftentimes I'm going to walk them through a homeowner report on one of our sales calls, and that has been effective. So that was for a homeowner who might manage themselves. Now, for somebody who uses a manager, again, this is that low-hanging fruit we talked about earlier. I'm going to give the 5 common objections and how to handle them. Well, first, we already have a property manager. Why would I want to switch? To which I might go, totally fair. A lot of the homeowners I work with were using a manager before they came to me. However, if they have a big property manager that they work with, one that has thousands of properties, I might say, you're talking to the owner of the business right now. I'm here to make sure your guests and you have the best experience possible. So you're not dealing with a large corporation anymore. You're dealing with me. Now, for somebody else who might say, well, our manager handles everything. What do you do differently? I'm going to say, well, most short-term rental managers, co-hosts, say they handle everything. But what I consistently see is they don't really do real pricing strategy. They don't have any dynamic adjustments. They have slow and bad communication, a lot of cleaning issues, and their listings haven't been updated in months. I take a completely different approach. I treat your listing like a business unit. Every photo, every message, every price point, every review matters. I'm hands-on. I optimize revenue weekly, not yearly. I look at your revenue per available room, RevPAR, your comp set, your booking windows, and your calendar gaps. And I build automations and systems that prevent issues instead of reacting to them. That's a little wordy. Don't need to say all of that. But the point is, most managers are reactive. I'm proactive, and that is the difference. Objection number 3. Well, my current manager only charges 10 to 20%. What do you charge? Guys, owners love this one. And here's how you flip that. I totally understand. And here's the thing. The cheapest manager is almost always the one that's leaving money on the table. If your property should be making $6,000 a month, but your current manager is bringing in $3,800, it doesn't matter if they charge 10%. You're still losing. Also, they might be marking things up without you even knowing. Look, I'm not the cheapest. I'm the one who cares the most about your property and will make you the most. My clients end up netting more after my fee because I tighten up pricing, optimize occupancy, improve guest experience, and make the listing convert better. So the real question isn't the percentage, it's the outcome. You're hiring someone to increase revenue and reduce headache and to protect your asset, and that's what I will optimize for. To which they might go, all right, number 4, switching managers sounds like a hassle. It's actually really simple on your end. We handle almost everything. We take over communication, pricing, cleaners, automations, and systems. We rebuild or optimize your listing without disrupting bookings, and we make the transition seamless so guests never feel a thing. All you have to do is give us co-host access and introduce us to the outgoing manager or cleaner. Owners always assume it's a big switch. It's not. It might be a 15 to 20 minute process that pays off for years. Well, they might say, well, our current manager is okay, not great, but not horrible. Honestly, most owners I talk to say the same exact thing. Their manager is decent, not terrible, not amazing, but fine leaves thousands of dollars in revenue unrealized every year. And fine usually means slow communication, flat pricing, old photos, and outdated processes. And once you actually experience management at a high level, you'll never want to go back to being fine. So yes, if you're already using a manager, switching can feel like a big decision. But if your property isn't performing at its potential, or you don't feel like you're getting that attention and optimization you deserve, that's exactly where I come in. With that said, here's the onboarding process once an owner decides to work with you. So the first thing I would do is I want to get the numbers and pull their last 6-12 months of performance from Airbnb, if they have it. I do this because I'm going to want to show and benchmark how much better I did than their previous manager. So this is their monthly revenue, occupancy, average daily rate, seasonality. I'm going to want to get an idea of what the market says the property should be doing. You can look at tools like B&B Calc for that, just so you have a baseline. So we're going to fix the listing. We're going to hire a good photographer, a real estate photographer, not your cousin with an iPhone and a Lightroom preset. We're going to get a killer hero photo. That first first photo is the most important, and we're going to rewrite the title to highlight the actual experience. For example, we'll say lakefront retreat with hot tub, dock, and fire pit instead of a 3-bedroom house that is near a lake. We're going to rewrite the description to set clear expectations, explain who the property is perfect for, and handle objections proactively, like parking, stairs, Wi-Fi, etc. So then we're going to set up our pricing. We're going to connect to Price Labs, Wheelhouse, one of the dynamic pricing softwares. We're going to come up with a custom comp set and base our prices off those. We're going to create adjustments, last-minute discounts to fill gaps, premiums for holidays and far-out bookings, minimum stays for weekends versus weekdays. There is a ton of hidden money to be made just with pricing optimization. Most owners are just going to pick a number and stick with it all year. Then we're going to build the operations backbone, lock in a cleaner, a backup cleaner. We're going to sync it with a property management software. I like hospitable.com. They are great. I've been using them this whole time. I'm going to create a cleaner checklist with photos, how every room should look when they leave. You're going to build your inventory list, linens, towels, toilet paper, soaps, etc. You're going to create and schedule your automated messages on your property management software, booking confirmation, pre-arrival instructions, check-in follow-up, day before, day after messages, and a post-stay review request. Now you're going to have a real system instead of just vibes. Last, reviews, retention, and why owners are going to stick with you. Now, here's the cool part of co-hosting. When reviews improve, revenue improves, and the owner suddenly thinks you're a wizard. So obsess over the basics. Set expectations honestly with guests. Don't try and sell a place like it's a 5-star resort, because you'll have guests who show up and are disappointed. If it is a 5-star resort, sell it as that. Just be honest and accurate. You want to exceed guest expectations. You're going to want to make simple check-in instructions. Stupid simple. Tired guests don't want to solve a puzzle to get into the house. Use digital locks, clear instructions, clear parking info. Do a short video or photos if needed. Guys, you're going to be responsive. I like to send a message after check-in. Hey, so-and-so, hope your check-in was smooth. If you need anything at all during your stay, just message me here. You guys are going to want to clean. And importantly, you guys are going to really want to make sure that your cleaners are dialed in and build a great relationship with them. Nothing tanks reviews faster than cleanliness. Guys, once an owner is working with you, churn in this business model is relatively low, but they're going to especially stick with you long-term if their reviews go up, if their revenue goes up, and if their involvement goes down. So that's the triangle you are managing. So now, how does this actually become a $10,000 a month? Well, let's talk about the numbers real quick. And you don't get to $10,000 a month by charging $200 total to manage one studio apartment. You get there by stacking a handful of solid properties with good splits. Example, let's say the first property with owner 1 makes $4,000 a month. Your 20% of that is $800. Property 2, $5,000 a month. That is $1,000 a month with a 20% management fee. Number 3, $6,000 a month, nets out to $1,200 in management fee. Property 4, $7,000 revenue a month, $1,400 in management fee. Number 5, $8,000 a month to $1,600 a month in management fee. So you see, as the property earns more, your management fee goes up. I have properties in my portfolio making almost $20,000 a month. Add a couple more decent properties and you're easily pushing past $10,000 a month without a single lease in your name. The magic is your systems don't scale linearly with your income. One good cleaner, one good messaging system, one good pricing system can support multiple properties. Eventually, when you have several properties, you can hire virtual assistants to handle the guest communications and operations in order to buy back your time. Guys, the hardest part is property number 1. Once you have one happy owner, one solid case study, one set of before and after numbers, you turn that into your pitch for numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, and you will be golden. So final thoughts, guys. Most people will watch this, nod along, maybe even take notes, and then go right back to scrolling. Don't do that. Co-hosting is one of the lowest risk ways to get into the short-term rental space. No leases, no huge upfront capital, real cash flow, real experience. You're helping owners get more of what they already want. More income, less stress, and better guest experiences. Guys, a lot of times these homeowners, second homeowners, investors, they're great people to have in your corner too. You're going to want to build a relationship with them over time. They're going to become partners and maybe even more than just real estate over life. These are good people to work with. So pick one action from this video and do it this week. Research a local market. Audit 5 to 10 listings and property managers. Maybe pitch somebody you already know who has a second home. If you want the help of me and my team and to join our group that is growing these businesses in real time with set processes and shared resources, hit the Calendly link in the description below and schedule a call with us. And if you want to run the numbers on properties and see what they can actually make, you can go to bnbcalc.com and do a 7-day trial. So please like and subscribe to this video. And honestly, let me know what questions you guys have. I'm here to serve you. Want to be as helpful as possible. I hope you guys appreciate this video, and you can go to my channel and check out others. Until next time.